Did you know that faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the Word of Yah? My goal is to bless you with the Word. Listen to it while you're driving. Listen to it while you're walking along the way. Listen to it when you lay down at night. Listen to the Word.
Leviticus chapter 21, verse 1 through chapter 24, verse 23. Yahweh said to Moshe, "Speak to the Kohanim, the sons of Aharon. Tell them, no Kohen is to make himself unclean for any of his people who dies, except for his close relatives, his mother, father, son, daughter, and brother. He may also make himself unclean for his virgin sister who is never married and is therefore dependent on him. He may not make himself unclean because he is a leader among his people. Doing so would profane him. Kohanim are not to make bald spots on their heads, mar the edges of their beards, or cut gashes in their flesh. Rather, they are to be holy for their power and not profane the name of their power. For they are the ones who present Yahweh with offerings made by fire, the bread of their power. Therefore, they must be holy. A Kohen is not to marry a woman who is a prostitute, who has been profaned, or who has been divorced, because he is holy for his power. Rather, you are to set him apart as holy because he offers the bread of your power. He is to be holy for you, because I, Yahweh, who makes you holy, am holy. The daughter of a Kohen who profanes herself by prostitution profanes her father. She is to be put to death by fire. The Kohen who is ranked highest among his brothers, the one on whose head the anointing oil is poured, and who is consecrated to put on the garment, is not to stop grooming his hair, tear his clothes, go into where any dead body is, or make himself unclean, even when his father or mother dies. He may not leave the sanctuary then, or profane the sanctuary of his power, because the consecration of the anointing oil of his power is on him. I am Yahweh. He is to marry a virgin. He may not marry a widow, divorcee, profaned woman, or prostitute, but he must marry a virgin from among his own people, and not disqualify his descendants among his people, because I am Yahweh, who makes him holy. Yahweh said to Moshe, "Tell Aharon, none of your descendants who has a defect may approach to offer the bread of his power. No one with a defect may approach. No one blind, lame, with a mutilated face or a limb too long, a broken foot or a broken arm, a hunched back, stunted growth, a cataract in his eye, festering or running sores, or damaged testicles. No one descended from Aharon the Kohen who has such a defect may approach to present the offerings for Yahweh made by fire. He has a defect and is not to approach to offer the bread of his power. He may eat the bread of his power, both the especially holy and the holy. Only he is not to go into the curtain or approach the altar, because he has a defect, so that he will not profane my holy places, because I am Yahweh, who makes them holy." Moshe said these things to Aharon, his sons, and all the people of Israel. Yahweh said to Moshe, "Tell Aharon and his sons to separate themselves from the holy things of the people of Israel, which they set apart as holy for me, so that they will not profane my holy name. I am Yahweh. Tell them, any descendant of yours through all your generations who approaches the holy things that the people of Israel consecrate to Yahweh and is unclean will be cut off from before me. I am Yahweh. Any descendant of Aharon with tazara'at or a discharge is not to eat the holy things until he is clean. Anyone who has touched a person made unclean by a dead body, or who has had a seminal emission, or who has touched a reptile or insect that can make him unclean, or a man who is unclean for any reason and who can transmit to him his uncleanness, the person who touches any of these will be unclean until evening and is not to eat the holy things unless he bathes his body in water. After sunset, he will be clean. and afterwards he may eat the holy things, because they are his food. But he is not to eat anything that dies naturally, or is torn to death by wild animals, and thereby make himself unclean. I am Yahweh. The Kohanim must observe this charge of mine. Otherwise, if they profane it, they will bear the consequences of their sin for doing so and die in it. I am Yahweh, who makes them holy. No one who is not a Kohen may eat anything holy, nor may a tenant or employee of a Kohen eat anything holy. But if a Kohen acquires a slave, either through purchase or through his being born in his household, he may share his food. If the daughter of a Kohen is married to a man who is not a Kohen, she is not to have a share of the food set aside from the holy things. But if the daughter of a Kohen is a widow or divorcee and has no child, and she is sent back to her father's house as when she was young, she may share in her father's food. But no one not a Kohen is to share in it. If a person eats holy food by mistake, he must add 1/5 to it and give the holy food to the Kohen. They are not to profane the holy things of the people of Israel that they have set apart for Yahweh, and thus cause them to bear guilt, requiring a guilt offering by eating their holy things, because I am Yahweh, who makes them holy. Yahweh said to Moshe, "Speak to Aharon and his sons, and to the entire people of Israel. Tell them, when anyone, whether a member of the house of Israel or a foreigner living in Israel, brings his offering, either in connection with a vow or as a voluntary offering, and brings it to Yahweh as a burnt offering, in order for you to be accepted, you must bring a male without defect from the cattle, the sheep, or the goats. You are not to bring anything with a defect, because it will not be accepted from you. Whoever brings a sacrifice of peace offerings to Yahweh in fulfillment of a vow, or as a voluntary offering, whether it come from the herd or from the flock, it must be unblemished and without defect in order to be accepted. If it is blind, injured, mutilated, has an abnormal growth, or has festering or running sores, you are not to offer it to Yahweh, or make such an offering by fire on the altar to Yahweh. If a bull or lamb has a limb which is too long or short, you may offer it as a voluntary offering, but for a vow it will not be accepted. An animal with bruised, crushed, torn, or cut genitals you are not to offer to Yahweh. You are not to do these things in your land, and you are not to receive any of these from a foreigner, for you to offer as bread for your power, because their deformity is a defect in them. They will not be accepted from you. Yahweh said to Moshe, when a bull, sheep, or goat is born, it is to stay with its mother for 7 days, but from the 8th day on, it may be accepted for an offering made by fire to Yahweh. However, no animal is to be slaughtered together with its young on the same day, neither cow nor ewe. When you offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving to Yahweh, you must do it in a way such that you will be accepted. It must be eaten on the same day it is offered. Leave none of it till morning. I am Yahweh. You are to keep my mitzvot and obey them. I am Yahweh. You are not to profane my holy name. On the contrary, I am to be regarded as holy among the people of Israel. I am Yahweh, who makes you holy, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your power. I am Yahweh. Yahweh said to Moshe, tell the people of Israel the designated times of Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as holy convocations, are my designated times. Work is to be done on 6 days, but the 7th day is a Shabbat of complete rest, a holy convocation. You are not to do any kind of work. It is a Shabbat for Yahweh, even in your homes. These are the designated times of Yahweh, the holy convocations you are to proclaim at their designated times. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, between sundown and complete darkness, comes Pesach for Yahweh. On the 15th day of the same month is the festival of matzah. For 7 days you are to eat matzah. On the first day you are to have a holy convocation. Don't do any kind of ordinary work. bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh for 7 days. On the 7th day is a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. Yahweh said to Moshe, "Tell the people of Israel, after you enter the land I am giving you and harvest its ripe crops, you are to bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the Kohen. He is to wave the sheaf before Yahweh so that you will be accepted. The Kohen is to wave it on the day after the Shabbat. On the day that you wave the sheaf, you are to offer a male lamb without defect in its first year as a burnt offering for Yahweh. Its grain offering is to be 1 gallon of fine flour mixed with olive oil, an offering made by fire to Yahweh as a fragrant aroma. Its drink offering is to be of wine, 1 quart. You are not to eat bread, dried grain, or fresh grain until the day you bring the offering for your power. This is a permanent regulation through all your generations, no matter where you live. From the day after the day of rest, that is, from the day you bring the sheaf for waving, you are to count 7 full weeks until the day after the 7th week. You are to count 50 days, and then you are to present a new grain offering to Yahweh. You must bring bread from your homes for waving, 2 loaves made with 1 gallon of fine flour baked with leaven as first fruits for Yahweh. Along with the bread, present 7 lambs without defect, 1 year old, 1 young bull, and 2 rams. These will be a burnt offering for Yahweh, with their grain and drink offerings, an offering made by fire as a fragrant aroma for Yahweh. Offer 1 male goat as a sin offering, and 2 male lambs 1 year old as a sacrifice of peace offerings. The Kohen will wave them with the bread of the first fruits as a wave offering before Yahweh. With the 2 lambs, these will be holy for Yahweh for the Kohen. On the same day, you are to call a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. This is a permanent regulation through all your generations, no matter where you live. When you harvest the ripe crops produced in your land, don't harvest all the way to the corners of your field, and don't gather the ears of grain left by the harvesters. Leave them for the poor and the foreigner. I am Yahweh, your power. Yahweh said to Moshe, "Tell the people of Israel, in the 7th month, the first of the month is to be for you a day of complete rest for remembering, a holy convocation announced with blasts on the shofar. Do not do any kind of ordinary work, and bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh." Yahweh said to Moshe, "The 10th day of this 7th month is Yom Kippur. You are to have a holy convocation. You are to deny yourselves, and you are to bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. You are not to do any kind of work on that day, because it is Yom Kippur, to make atonement for you before Yahweh your power. Anyone who does not deny himself on that day is to be cut off from his people, and anyone who does any kind of work on that day, I will destroy from among his people. You are not to do any kind of work. It is a permanent regulation through all your generations, no matter where you live. It will be for you a Shabbat of complete rest, and you are to deny yourselves. You are to rest on your Shabbat from evening the 9th day of the month until the following evening." Yahweh said to Moshe, "Tell the people of Israel, on the 15th day of this 7th month is the feast of Sukkot for 7 days to Yahweh. On the 1st day there is to be a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. For 7 days you are to bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. On the 8th day you are to have a holy convocation and bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. It is a day of public assembly. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. These are the designated times of Yahweh that you are to proclaim as holy convocations and bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh, a burnt offering, a grain offering, a sacrifice, and drink offerings, each on its own day. Besides the Shabbats of Yahweh, your gifts, all your vows, and all your voluntary offerings that you give to Yahweh. But on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered the produce of the land, you are to observe the festival of Yahweh 7 days. The first day is to be a complete rest, and the 8th day is to be a complete rest. On the first day, you are to take choice fruit palm fronds, thick branches, and river willows, and celebrate in the presence of Yahweh your power for 7 days. You are to observe it as a feast to Yahweh 7 days in the year. It is a permanent regulation, generation after generation. Keep it in the 7th month. You are to live in Sukkot for 7 days. Every citizen of Israel is to live in a sukkah, so that generation after generation of you will know that I made the people of Israel live in Sukkot when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your power. Thus Moshe announced to the people of Israel the designated times of Yahweh. Yahweh said to Moshe, "Order the people of Israel to bring you pure oil from crushed olives for the light, to keep lamps burning always. Outside the curtain of the testimony in the tent of meeting, Aharon is to arrange for the light to be kept burning, always from evening until morning before Yahweh. This is to be a permanent regulation through all your generations. He is always to keep in order the lamps on the pure menorah before Yahweh. You are to take fine flour and use it to bake 12 loaves, 1 gallon per loaf. Arrange them in 2 rows, 6 in a row, on the pure table before Yahweh. Put frankincense with each row to be an offering made by fire to Yahweh in place of the bread and as a reminder of it. Regularly, every Shabbat, he is to arrange them before Yahweh. They are from the people of Israel as a covenant forever. They will belong to Aharon and his sons, and they are to eat them in a holy place, because for him they are of the offerings for Yahweh made by fire, especially holy. This is a permanent law. There was a man who was the son of a woman of Israel and an Egyptian father. He went out among the people of Israel, and this son of a woman of Israel had a fight in the camp with a man of Israel, in the course of which the son of the woman of Israel uttered the name of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh in a curse. So they brought him to Moshe. His mother's name was Shlomit, the daughter of Dibri, of the tribe of Dan. They put him under guard until Yahweh would tell them what to do. Yahweh said to Moshe, "Take the man who cursed outside the camp. Have everyone who heard him lay their hands on his head, and have the entire community stone him. Then tell the people of Israel, whoever curses his power will bear the consequences of his sin, and whoever blasphemes the name of Yahweh must be put to death. The entire community must stone him. The foreigner as well as the citizen is to be put to death if he blasphemes the name. Anyone who strikes another person and kills him must be put to death. Anyone who strikes an animal and kills it is to make restitution, life for life. If someone injures his neighbor, what he did is to be done to him. Break for break, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Whatever injury he has caused, the other person is to be rendered to him in return. He who kills an animal is to make restitution, but he who kills another person is to be put to death. You are to apply the same standard of judgment to the foreigner as to the citizen, because I am Yahweh your power." So Moshe spoke to the people of Israel, and they took the man who had cursed outside the camp and stoned him to death. Thus the people of Israel did as Yahweh had ordered Moshe.